Hello friends, neighbors, John your whiskey neighbor here, and welcome to my deck. It's another great Saturday. Certainly can't complain about the weather. And I have a couple of bottles of rye that I'd like to talk to you about. Today I want to talk to you about High West. This is their double rye, and this is a bit of an older release. So this is High West double rye. Thanks for staying with me. As I said, I've got a couple of open bottles that I need to get my thoughts out on ryes, and I wanted to talk about High West Double Rye, specifically this release, a little while ago because it was on sale. It still is on sale, but it's hard to find. This is from distillery in Park City, Utah, and High West does a lot of pretty cool blended, I don't know if they call it that, mixed and blended whiskey, as this is, right? This is a rye, and they call it a double rye. Now, this is specific to Wine and Beyond, so it was a store release, so that you can get the barrel number and a bit more about it. But this is part of the older double rye, and by that I mean it's two ryes. One is from MGP, pretty young, 2-year-old, and it's that 95 rye, 5 barley, 95.5, classic MGP rye, but young, 2-year. And then this one is, then they've added an older, a 16-year-old rye. And that rye, it even says on the back here, 53% rye and 37% corn. And it's 16 years old, and that's from the Barton Distillery. So this is a mix, right? We've got that young 2-year-old, and then a 16-year-old that is significant corn, right? 53 rye, 37 corn. Whereas the MGP's got that, that 95.5 classic rye that we see in so many Bullet Rye and other products. This one's released at 50.6%. As I said, it was a Wine and Beyond release here in Alberta. But let's talk about what we get out of this rye, what kind of smell we're getting off it with the nose, and what the palate is. I'm excited. If you're a longtime viewer of the channel, you know I like rye. Nose right away has got some nice pepper to it. Not overwhelming though. It's still got a bit of vanilla, a bit of caramel. Oh, and then actually a little sharp, came back, a little strong. Well, it's 50%. A little bit of a herb note, a little bit of grass, what you're expecting in a rye. Yeah, but sweet, spicy, peppery. A little bit of cooked, candied, so it's got a little bit of a sweeter edge to it. But bright nose, bright flavors. Right away I'm anticipating, what's that going to taste like? So let's check it out. Cheers. So definitely got some pepper in it, but I don't want to overemphasize that with this one. Sure, it's there, but it's in cinnamons. It's got some body to it, so like a cinnamon bun, right? So it's got some grain character almost to it. Maybe that's that corn sweetness. I don't know. The herbal note, the grassy note is there, but it's not as strong for me as in some other ryes. Second time in, I can get a little bit more of that. A little more about that cut alfalfa grass, a little bit of eucalyptus. Not a bit, but I mean, not a ton, but yeah, okay, there's some of that in there. It runs through different spicing, right? So you get some cinnamons, but you get some actual black peppers. Then you get them cooked into, like I said, a cinnamon bun or a candy apple or cinnamon hearts, right? So there's still a fair amount of sweetness in here. As I said, vanillas. Well, nice finish. It does have a nice drawing finish, which I like in rye. Does have a bit of a hug, a little bit of a burn. There is definitely a youth in the alcohol. I get a burn in the nose, but not a marker quality or an ethanol, you know. In the finish, I've had a couple of sips. It did very much warm my throat, right? So it's a little bit aggressive in the swallow. Yeah, and actually got a little bit of bitter or tannic, you know, that kind of rough wood, bitterness wood, right there at my third sip. So there are some flaws in this, and I really thought it was going to be just like amazing, right? That whole idea of a young, sprightly rye, but then an older, like a 16-year-old rye, a little more corn in it. I thought, oh, this is going to be amazing. And I do really like it. It's easily a great experience, and if you like rye, it's a solid 4 stars. This is a good rye. I can hardly recommend it. If you're in Alberta, my local has, I think one bottle left at $49, which is a great price for the uniqueness of this, for the strength, 50.6, and if you like rye, I really do think you're going to enjoy it. Yeah. I want to compare it. I was trying to think of, well, what else do I have for American ryes right now? And I've got this one, which I talked about a while ago. This is a Sonoma rye, cask strength, but really 54.4, 50.6. They're pretty close. This is 100% rye, so there's no corn or barley. This one, remember, had the 5% barley with the young one and about 37% corn with the older one. This is just rye, nothing but rye, unmalted and malted, and it's in new charred oak. Oh, I don't know. I'm assuming this is new charred oak too. Yeah, the wood notes, it's got to be. Has to be. This one for sure is young though. This is like a, I don't know, 2-3-year-old is what I'm thinking. But I thought, oh, let's kind of compare it. So this is Sonoma rye, just in comparison to the High West double rye. What a different beast. This is, I think, what people who struggle with rye would really struggle with this dram. This is sharp, almost sour grass, herb, eucalyptus, licorice, anise. Yeah, all of that, right? Whereas this has, oh, now that coming back to it in comparison, it's got a really nice caramel cook to it, you know, right, deeper nose, and honestly more like bourbon in the nose. This Sonoma rye is wild, like I said, anise, licorice. Wow, I'm gonna taste it. Cheers. You know, the initial part was actually really coating in the mouth, like genuinely felt thicker. I really like the mouthfeel of that. Just coating and chewy. And then drying on the end. I was about to say the pepper is not there. And then it just came back. And now my tongue is like Pop Rocks on it. If you're an older person, you know that Pop Rock candy. By that I mean my tongue is really going zing, 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 picking up some spice notes from that young rye. Coming back to the High West, definitely deeper, more cooked nose. It still has some nice variety of spicing, of peppering. And it also dries in the finish, but it just has depth to its palate that Sonoma out there just doesn't have. You know, I could recommend this. I do recommend this double rye to a variety of people, even if you're not a big rye fan. I think you could try it. This Sonoma rye, I just I would hesitate recommending. I'm very thankful I have it. I think it's a great example. I haven't done a tasting since we entered into this social distancing, so I haven't had anyone over. But I would serve that to someone who's like, well, like essentially, what am I looking for when I'm looking for rye tasting notes? What is rye? Sometimes it doesn't have to totally, but what is that nature? And this Sonoma stands out to me as young and clearly pot-stilled rye. Nose moved almost even more toward some bourbons, a little bit of red fruits. Yeah, backed off on the burn quality in the nose. The Sonoma rye took away some of that anise. I'm just left a bit with that grass, lemon. So the citrus less, lemon. Yeah, but that's all. Didn't add anything more to it. Taste-wise, well, I don't know where I am in my order. Well, I'll go Sonoma. I'm not really sure what water did to that. Thinned it. Took away some of the spicing. Maybe a hint of apple. High West. Took a much bigger sip of that. Actually, that perked up on my tongue, so it didn't take away the spice. It lengthened the experience and allowed me to get a little bit more at some of the other tasting notes in there. A little bit of butter, a little bit of graham cracker that I wasn't getting earlier, and then there was still good spicing on that. Look, but totally between the two, High West is a better bottle. This is 4 or more. This is under, but it's unique. So, like, I'm glad I have it. But totally in this comparison, if you're just looking for what's going to be a better experience, I think even people who really love rye are going to get especially now that, wow, the water actually allowed some of the peppering that I knew was in here to come out. Whereas it almost took it away in this one. I'm kind of rambling. Look, you guys, rye can be an acquired taste. This kind of rye here, where it's got some older and higher corn in it, I think has a broader appeal because you'll get some of the bourbon-esque notes that you're looking for, right? Some of the woods come out that way, that kind of thing. Versus a rye like this is really for rye heads. If there's such a thing as a rye head, this is your bottle. I am a rye head, so you have to take everything I just said with a little grain of salt. If you're in the Alberta area, though, and you get to a Wine and Beyond and you see this on sale for $50, that's a must-buy. Thanks for joining me again. I look forward to sharing. Like I said, I got a couple other rye bottles that are open that I got to get my thoughts out there. So hopefully I can find some time. You guys take care.